Welcome everyone to our Tuesday afternoon mastermind session, gang. We do this every single week in a very transparent format where we're going to share with you the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to get into what's going on with you and your business, because the bottom line is this: the struggle, it's real. Guys, it's real, especially right now in a shifting market. Many of you are waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning wondering, where's my next listing coming from? Anybody ever been there before? Stressed out more than anybody you know, because maybe you got a lease payment or a house payment due. Maybe you got a car payment or an insurance payment that's due, and you have no pending contracts. Guys, the struggle is real. Many of you are thinking, well, Sean, I just don't have enough time to get everything done in a day. Anybody ever been guilty of that? I don't have enough time to get everything done in a day, right? Well, one of the things that I've learned is that oftentimes it's that we don't have too many things to do. It's that we choose to do too many things. So what I want to do is I want to just kind of ratchet this down today. I want to talk a little bit about the blocking and tackling, the fundamentals of real estate sales. And this is apropos because of what I went through last week and really trying to get my golf game up to par so that I didn't embarrass myself in front of John Maxwell and Jack Nicklaus, right? It's really about mastering the fundamentals at anything that you do. I mean, I've got footballs and basketballs and hockey pucks and golf clubs and all kinds of things signed around my office. And I put those up on my walls because it's a constant reminder that is about mastering the fundamentals. It's the blocking and tackling in real estate sales, gang, that's going to get you to that next level of growth. And once you've mastered something, what I've learned is it's so much easier to leverage that thing to somebody else. See, if you don't know what you're doing, how on earth can you expect to identify somebody and then hire them to do what you don't know how to do? Does this make sense? I always tell people the good news about lead generation, lead follow-up, and conversion is that yes, it can be effectively delegated. The bad news is you probably better master it first. You guys with me on this? So let's talk about some of the blocking and tackling. I want to go deeper into your biggest source of business, where most of your deals come from. In 99.9% of the cases, guys, most of your deals are going to come through your sphere of influence, your past clients as well. It's that repeat and that referral business. Let me ask the question: would you rather have 100 internet leads or one rock solid referral from a trusted friend? Come on, which is it? Just one rock solid referral, because they're pre-sold. They'll do anything you ask them to do. I don't care if it's signing a listing contract, signing a buyer agency agreement. They're ready, willing, and able to do what they need to do. And you don't have to sell them too hard. Now, with that said, at the same time, I encourage you and expect you to go through your buyer initial counseling session with them. I encourage you to give them your full listing presentation. Don't just take the deal and run, because when they go to refer you in the future, or they hear of somebody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, they might say, oh yeah, Todd, he's a great guy. You should give Todd a call. What you want them to say is, Todd is a great realtor, somebody who really knows his stuff, right? And if you skip the presentations, you just run off with the signed listing contract or buyer agency agreement, they really have no clue as to the value you bring to the table. Now, I made this mistake many times during my career with trusted friends and or even family members, where I didn't give them the presentation. I didn't set and then manage the appropriate expectations. And guess what? Things generally went sideways. Then I had to jump back in and get it back on track. And again, they didn't have that working knowledge of what I did, how I did it, such that they could really position me and edify me to their friends and family in their personal sphere of influence. Yet with that said, guys, I want to go deep into your sphere. And what are you doing right now to communicate with that sphere of influence, to really position yourself in their mind such that when they think real estate, they think you? And I just, again, want to mastermind today. I want to learn from you, not only educate you, yet I want to learn from you. What are you doing to really cultivate that sphere of influence, to wring it out as it relates to the number of referrals you're getting day in and day out? Now, I'm going to go deeper as you guys collect your thoughts, okay? The reason this is important is because in the rewrite of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the MREA, the Red Book, Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, Dave Jenks, the authors of that book, the research suggests that for every 12 people you have in your sphere of influence, the people that know you, like you, and trust you, there are 2 deals to be done within that 12-month cycle. So for every 12, there's 2. Now, the reason it's broken out 12 to 2 versus 6 to 1 is one of those deals is going to be referral from somebody in your sphere of influence. And the other deal is going to be somebody who's actually in your sphere of influence is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Now, guys, if you had 250 people in that sphere of influence and you're communicating with them systematically, that in and of itself is over 40 transactions per year. How would you like to go to bed at night and wake up every morning with this feeling of entitlement, knowing that if you follow a simple system to systematically communicate with your sphere of influence, that you would do over 40 transactions per year? How does that feel to you guys? Talk to me.
Can you repeat? Were you saying that it was for every 12 people that you know, you'll get 2 leads? Is that what was the 12 to 2? I didn't quite. I'm trying to type and like take notes, and I didn't quite.
No, my pleasure, Robert. And I'm glad you asked the question. In fact, guys, the only stupid question is the one that is not asked. Okay, so please ask the question, because Robert, you had that on your mind. It might be on the mind of 10 other people right now. So thank you for asking the question. So for every 12 people that is in your sphere of influence, these are people that know you, like you, and trust you. They're part of your inner circle, if you will. So it goes inner circle, then it goes out to the Mets, meaning you met them maybe at an open house, you met them on property tour, you had a conversation with them, they sign call maybe on a listing you had 6 months ago. You've met them in some form or fashion. You've had a live conversation. Then outside of that, those of you that are engaged and plugged into digital marketing, you have this whole big old other pond of never mets, right? That you have very little influence with. But as you go outside in on this circle, your influence increases. What I'm talking about right now is that inner circle. These are the people that would answer your call if you called them. They'd see the caller ID and say, oh, hey, Robert's calling me. I'm going to grab that call, right? So for every 12 people that you have in that inner circle, there are 2 deals to be done that year. Whether they're buying, listing, or investing in real estate, there are 2 transactions to be wrung out of that sphere of influence, okay? So the reason the 12 to 2 versus 6 to 1 is one of those deals, one of the 2 out of the 12 people, one of them is going to be a referral from one of those 250 people or so in your sphere of influence. Then the other deal is going to be somebody that's within that group of 250 people who wants to buy, sell, or invest with you. So again, I want you all to embrace this sense of entitlement, okay? That you're entitled to these transactions when you communicate with them systematically. Now, a system to me is nothing more, nothing less than a standardized process that produces a consistent and predictable result. So you're going to do it the same way each and every time, yet you're going to get that consistency in your business. Now, in order to get consistency, you must be consistent. So one of the things I want to bring to light, and many of you have heard me talk about this in the past, yet it's a 36 touch campaign. Meaning for every person in your sphere of influence, you're going to touch them 3 times per month, some form or fashion, right? It could be email, it could be direct mail, it could be a direct message on a social channel, it could be a personal phone call, it could be a ringless voicemail drop, it could be a handwritten invitation to attend a customer appreciation event. It could be anything, yet you're going to touch them 3 times per month. Now, a lot of people say, Sean, that sounds great. They never install it because it feels complex. Yes, it feels complex. It doesn't have to be. I like simple straight lines, right, gang? Like my favorite riddle, many of you heard before, what can you sit on, sleep on, and brush your teeth with? Well, it's a chair, a bed, and a toothbrush. Come on, don't make it so complicated, right? Yet you hear 36 touch campaign, you think, man, that must be complicated. No, it's simple. Simple. I think 4 of those touches should be personal phone calls directly from you. Personal phone calls, just a sincere outreach. Now, a lot of people say, well, that sounds great, Sean. I'm going to call everybody in my sphere of influence once per quarter. Then they get to March 31st, right? Last day of Q1. And they say, oh, crap, I got to call 320 people today. Guys, and it doesn't happen, does it? So you've got to just simply break it out. And if you just simply called 2 letters of the alphabet, meaning if your last name begins with A or B and you're part of my sphere of influence, I'm going to call you this week. If your last name begins with C or D, I'm going to call you next week, and E and F the next week, and so on and so forth. A really simple strategy, really simple strategy. Because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, 52 weeks in the year. Guys, do the math. You'll reach out to everybody in your sphere of influence 4 times per year. So it's just a matter of time blocking the activity. Am I right? In fact, those of you that really want to get into action and start getting immediate results, just go to your calendar right now, identify the time that you're going to reach out to your A's and B's this week, and just put in an appointment to call your A's and B's and treat it like a $2 million listing appointment. I mean, you wouldn't show up late, you wouldn't no-show them, you wouldn't be distracted during that appointment, would you? No, of course not. You'd be hanging on every word that they say. And same thing with this time block. Just call your A's and B's this week. Then it becomes about, well, what are you going to say? Let's talk about that. When you reach out to your sphere of influence, what are you guys saying to them? Talk to me.
Hey, Sean.
Talk to me. Yes, Doug, what's going on?
Not bad. A couple years since I was in your coaching program, but I've been following this now for, I don't know, the last 8 months. So thanks for letting us come back in. I've been doing this 25 years and I've closed 1,000 escrows by myself. I know every client, every deal. I can remember most of the houses, which is unfortunate. It tells you my life's pretty boring. But it's funny is my secret to success for 25 years is every 3 months I do a written letter. I write it, I don't copy and paste. I send it out to my database 3 times a year, and then they get a Christmas card at Christmas. And I've always looked at that 36 touches a year I mean, at a certain point, it's going to become background noise. And my clients have kept me going with 40 to 50 escrows every year, touching them three times a year. Because trying to call 400 people while doing 40 escrows, while listing, while showing, while on inspections, while in California disclosures, time blocking has been pretty much the worst thing I've ever not accomplished.
And by the way, Doug, you're not alone. That's for sure. In fact, I struggled with time blocking throughout my career as well. And I'll just be totally transparent. In fact, I'll show you the time block schedule that I'd work. And this yielded a minimum 100 buyer side transactions per year. See, my question to you is, do you have the $50,000 time management system? Do you have the $500,000 time management system, or the $1 million time management system? And how do you know? Well, you just look at your 1099 at the end of the year. It'll tell you what your time management system is worth, because how you choose to invest your time really dictates the trajectory of your level of income. You guys with me on this, right? And I'm going to share with you real quick the time block schedule that I personally worked. And by the way, as I share this with you, just recognize that by doing it this way, what I learned after years of beating my head against the wall is that I was setting myself up for disappointment. Okay, so here it is. Let me share my screen as soon as it opens, and there it is. Now, you know, I've presented to over 1 million realtors worldwide, okay? And I consistently would pitch and talk about working your perfect week schedule. Now, the reason I call it a perfect week schedule is because, quite frankly, you guys, nothing is perfect. And I mean, you might have a time block for lead generation from 9 to 11, like I did, right? And your dog is sick, you have to run it to the vet. It's going to blow up your entire day, let alone that particular time block. Now, here's the block schedule that I worked, and I did it religiously. And it was week after week after week after week, right? And there were many days that I was able to stick to the time block. And there were days that I was absolutely frustrated and disappointed. Can anybody relate to that frustration, that disappointment? When you know what you want to do, you know when you want to do it, and yet life happens. See, essentially, I was trying to time block literally every hour of an 8 to 10 hour workday, 8 to 12 hour workday in some cases, right? Now, what I found is that was setting myself up for disappointment. Now, one of the things that I learned in the research that we did in writing The One Thing with Gary Keller and Jay Papasan is that our willpower is highest in the AM hours of the day, meaning after 12 o'clock, after lunch, our willpower, it drains quickly. So what I've done in my later years is I just time block the AM hours of the day and let the PM hours take care of themselves. Now, I think there's wisdom in what I'm about to say. See, because our willpower is high first thing in the morning, but we have no problem with sticking to the schedule. Plus, in the AM hours, our day hasn't gotten away from us just yet. Now, one of the things that helped me with this is I don't open my email inbox until after 12 o'clock. Now, the reason for that It's because the moment I open my email inbox, I've recognized that I'm now making a conscious decision to begin managing everybody else's priorities instead of my own. See, my priority does not exist inside my email inbox. And I don't care what the email is, it can wait until after 12 o'clock. If it's an emergency, guys, they're going to track you down. I'm telling you, they're going to send you a text message. They're going to call your cell phone 15 times in a row. They're going to track down your significant other to say, I'm trying to get in touch with this person. I need to have a conversation, right? They'll figure it out. Like, for example, if I said to you, what do you mean my house burned down? Why didn't you tell me? Well, Sean, I sent you an email. You didn't get my email? No, see, no such thing as an email emergency, right? So not opening your email first thing in the day will help set your intentions for the day, okay? See, it's those of us who figured out how to manage our own priorities first are the ones that are gonna get the results that we want. So my input to you is time block from say 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. And then I don't care what you do. Seriously, go home and sit on the couch, binge watch your favorite show on Netflix. I'm telling you, because if you treated the 8 to 12 hours appropriately, you've taken care of your priority. And in that time block, there's really 3 things that I think you should focus on from 8 to 12. Everything else is simply a distraction. Number 1, practice. Seriously, practice your skill. Now, guys, I don't care if you've been doing this for 32 years like I have, yet practicing what you say and how you say it, I think, is a basic fundamental of extraordinary success. And with mere words in real estate sales, guys, you can make over $1 million a year selling real estate with mere words, knowing what to say, knowing how to say it. So let's agree, practice isn't something we did, it's something we do on a consistent, repetitive basis. So with that said, excuse me, I'd encourage you to identify a role play partner. By the way, go to the Icon community on Facebook and just post in there saying, I want a role play partner who's willing to meet with me, every morning, Monday through Friday, and we can spend 15 minutes just going through scripts, dialogues, objection handlers, because I want to improve what I say and how I say it. Okay, second thing, lead generation. So what are you doing proactively to identify and earn the business of the buyer and seller prospects in the marketplace today? And do you choose to call for sale by owners? Maybe it's expired listings. Maybe you want to do some circle prospecting or build and identify, people for a reciprocal referral relationship where you guys are really working together, networking. That's the word I was looking for. So you can do a business to business type approach. And I've got all the scripts. They're free. You can download them at iconcoaching.com. Just go to the resources tab and you can grab those scripts. So what to say, the how to say it. These are the things you would practice in that time block, by the way. So after practice and lead generation, then it's about lead follow-up and conversion. And you're going to set up your time block schedule such that maybe Mondays you're doing sphere of influence calls and for sale by owners. And Tuesdays you're calling expired listings. Then maybe Wednesdays you're calling expireds and FSBOs. Then maybe Thursdays you're going to mix it up. You do circle prospecting. Then Fridays you're going to focus on business to business relationships and creating those networking opportunities, right? So mix it up a little bit is what I'm trying to say, because it becomes very monotonous if you do the same thing every day. So with that said, the third thing is lead follow-up and conversion. So focusing on that 7-step formula, which you can download at iconcoaching.com as well to enhance your lead conversion. Then at 12 o'clock, it becomes about everything else. See, I want you to view your time in terms of Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 rule. And the 20% effort is just 5 things, right? The 5 things that really move the needle for your production. Number 1 is practice, then lead generation, lead follow-up. Then the PM activities become going on appointments and negotiating contracts. Now, these are the only 5 things that are going to increase your production and your bank account balance. And it's those of you who figured out how to give most of your time to those 5 things that are going to really double your production this year. So with that said, we have 80% things as well. And the 80% stuff I'm talking about. It's all the things that need to be done, but they don't increase your production. For example, setting up, going on and negotiating inspection issues, meeting contractors at the property, meeting the stager at your new listing. All of these things, that's just 80% stuff. And again, those of you who are wise, those of you who know that there's a way to increase your production, you leverage off the 80% stuff through other people. Now you say, well, Sean, I'm a solo agent. I don't have those leverage points. How on earth can I leverage that stuff off? Well, here's the point. You can start today. Like as it relates to your lead follow-up, you can literally double your follow-up efforts simply by engaging with your favorite lender. Say, listen, I want to give you the opportunity to earn the business of every buyer prospect I identify, yet quite frankly, you've got to earn that right. They say, well, what do I have to do?
Looks like you're sitting at the park.
All
Hello.
right. And Tim, if you could take care of that background noise, buddy, I'd appreciate that. Everybody, just make sure you're on mute. I'd appreciate that too. All right. So go to your lender and say, there's 3 things I need you to do for me and with me to increase your level of income in the process. Number 1, you're going to follow up with every buyer lead I give you until they buy or die. Can you do that for me? Number 2, can you report to me on a weekly basis on every buyer I've ever sent you? So let's do a quick pipeline review. Let's talk about each prospect. What was your last point of communication? What's the next planned point of communication? And how would you rate their motivation on a scale from 0 to 10? And then number 3, you've got to edify me. Okay, you've got to coach your lenders up to really build you up in the process. You got to provide them with scripts. For example, that first script should be something like, hey, this is John with XYZ Realty XYZ Mortgage Company, and Sean Kokoska asked me to reach out to you directly and get you pre-approved. Yet before I begin, I just want to take a moment and commend you on your selection of a realtor. You know what? Sean is by far the best realtor I've ever come across. I've been doing this for 30 years. How'd you get in touch with Sean? See, they're going to edify you. They're going to build you up. They can sell you better than you could ever sell yourself. So applying leverage to your strategy, I think, is critically important to up your production level. Yet, I've been talking a long time, and I don't like when I talk the entire time during these calls because I really want to learn from you guys. So with that said, the installment of the 36 touch campaign, my input is identify your touches, work it backward. For example, 12 touches should be an e-newsletter. It's very inexpensive. You can set it up at followupresults.com for pennies, okay? Followupresults.com is a great source for your monthly e-newsletter. They send it out through MailChimp. You get full optics on the back end. Who opened it? What did they click on? You put articles in there that they source for you. For example, 3 things you might not need to do if you're selling your house in a hot market. See, nobody's going to click on that unless they're considering selling their house, right? So out of the 2,000 people you sent this to, the 20 that clicked on that article, that becomes your leads list for the next day to follow up with. Does that make sense? You guys with me? So 12 touches should be an e-newsletter. 12 touches should be direct mail. I'd encourage you to advertise the needs of your buyers to your sphere of influence. I'm working with the following buyers. Who do you know that wants to sell a house that meets the needs of my clients? Buyer 1 looking for this, buyer 2 looking for that, right? 12 touches, that could be through email, yet open rates are about 24% on average. Could be direct mail, where open rates are about 85% on average. Could be a text message where open rates are 99% plus. Could be a social media post, which they may or may not see it, yet 36 touches per year, 3 per month, guys. So if you did 12 direct, if you did 12 e-newsletter touches, that's 24, 4 personal phone calls, you're already up to 28. So now you just need 8 more touches. Maybe you want to do a quarterly customer appreciation event. There's 4 more. Then you just need a couple of more. Then you just simply go to your calendar and you simply reverse engineer it. You plug it in and follow your calendar. Guys, if you do that, it's a 12-to-2 ratio. 12-to-2 ratio. For every 12 people that you have engaged in your 36 touch program, expect to do 2 deals that year. So again, I wanted to focus on the fundamentals today. I want to focus on the blocking and the tackling, right? Any questions, concerns, challenges before I let y'all run?
Yeah. And what was the e-newsletter website that you said?
I recommend followupresults.com. Richie Laser put that company together. It's so easy to manage. So they put it all together for you. It is top notch in terms of professionalism. Many of my luxury agents are using followupresults.com, and even brand new agents with an average sales price of $150,000. They're using followupresults.com. It works really well. Thank you for typing that in, Mr. Daniel. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, gang. So other questions, concerns, challenges before I let you get on with your busy days and weeks? Okay, so again, it's my intention.
Hey, Sean.
One thing. Go ahead, Mr. Watkins. Go ahead, take it away.
I was going to say one really easy one to do, or at least that I like to do, is take advantage of social media, right? With Facebook, it already tells you who all your friends' birthdays are every single day, every morning. Just give them a call. we're in such a world now where nobody ever communicates face to face. You know, they just shoot a group text message. I mean, that's all even my mom does anymore. It's a group text message. How lame is that? I didn't even get a call from my mom, and I'm her oldest child. So just call. So I like to do that. I just call people and wish them a happy birthday. So right there, it's an easy way to do it every morning.
That's fantastic. Even better,
Start the day off with some happy
right?
birthdays.
Yeah, if you're close to
Absolutely.
them, FaceTime them. Why not? Send a video
Yeah.
text message. If you are going to send a text, send a video text, right? Let them see you, create that parasocial relationship, and leverage every bit of your ability to connect with them and influence them in the process. So way to go, guys. All right, next week, we're going to have a special guest. I'm excited about it. So mark your calendars, time block the time. I'll see you again next week. Until then, just be on purpose, be productive. And as always, gang, be powerful. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Sean.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Take care, guys.
Thanks so much.